People are actually making businesses from selling people the idea of starting a business, even if that person doesn't even know if they want to or not. How likely are you to get fucked over? MLM is not fucking entrepreneurship. You are given guidelines and told what to do. You are just a glorified employee who wants to make money, who wants to be an entrepreneur, but you're too fucking scared to do it yourself. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You may think it's what you want. Somebody told you. You listened to a reel. Here's what you really need to know about becoming an entrepreneur. Welcome to Life by 8, your blueprint for designing your ultimate life. I'm Rebecca Grugan, your architect on this journey to building a life fully lived. Using our 8 pillars to human wellness framework, we'll explore how to transform your everyday from ordinary to extraordinary. So let's go. So you want to quit your day job. Depending on what day of the week you're listening to this, maybe it's Wednesday and it's hump day and you're like, can't believe it's only halfway through the week. Maybe it's Friday and you're like, yay, I get to leave this shit job for the weekend. And then maybe it's Sunday night and you have anxiety before you have to go to work on Monday. Or maybe it's Monday morning, you're like, how am I here again? These are behaviors, thoughts, trends that might give you some insight that you are actually ready to quit your day job. Now, don't get too excited. You're like, sweet, Rebecca told me that I could quit your day job. No, if I could do that, I've seen it happen and go wrong a lot of times. When you quit your day job to start a business or become an entrepreneur, it is a profound shift, not only in who you are going to become as a human, but in how you see the world and your place in it. You have to reject the system. You have to be willing to create something without somebody telling you what to do. It may sound like, that's exactly what I want, Rebecca. And I can speak from experience in my own journey and transitions, but also recently with my husband's. When you leave a job, a government job, a full-time job, a private sector job, whatever it is, but you go to work these days and you've got a job title, you've got a job description, and you know what you've got to do, and somebody gives you that work to do, and you get the paycheck every fortnight, and you celebrate the Fridays, and you hate the Mondays. That's a values level 4 job. And when you step out of that, when you start to think or innovate or create and have these ideas, you start to fundamentally move towards what if? What if I left? What if I ventured into the unknown? This transition is life-changing. And if you do it without any thought, it can blow up in your face really, really quickly. Because the whole I want to quit my day job, you actually have to be able to make sense of whether you're doing that in a values level 3, fuck you and fuck the police type scenario, or if you're actually doing it because you're feeling restricted and you're feeling stuck because there's no innovation and you have all these ideas and nobody wants to hear them, which can happen in a values level 4 career. And so what I want you to be able to make sense of with this episode is, are you actually ready to quit your day job? Or is it actually that you're ready to change careers or leave that workplace for a new one? Or is there an actual fundamental thing going on for you and it's more about a values level 3 thing and you don't know who you are and you don't want people to tell you who you are? There's these, I guess, spectrum of things that can be happening. And so what I want to help you make sense of is, if you're in a values level 4, 5 transition, which many humans are at the moment, is this what you want? Is this truly what you want? And what to expect if you are going to do this? Because people don't speak into this enough. We speak into and glamorize entrepreneurship and being a CEO, like boss babe, boss bitch, whatever the fuck those titles are, right? I don't call myself a boss babe. Sorry. But what I want to really speak into is that not everybody is ready to be a CEO or an entrepreneur because they haven't they haven't gone into or haven't been exposed to the truths about what it's like to be in that space, to be that person, to become that person. Because if you're in a values level 4 or 5 transition, there is a massive difference between being an employee and a boss entrepreneur. Like it's profoundly different. And so when Paul quit his job, or he spent I feel like it was 8 months, it felt like 84 years if I was on the Titanic, but I'm not. It felt like 8 months he spent going back and forth within himself of, don't I, do I want to, where do I have a place? And then he had earned long service leave. So he took that space to have 3 months to explore the feeling of what it was like. And then just before he had to go back, making the decision to give it a go. And can I tell you that jump was into fucking darkness. And it doesn't mean that this is the reality for everybody, but with the amount of clients I've worked with over the years, I can tell you that jump, it does get really dark. It is really deep, especially if you did no research to work out what was under that water when you jumped. And though, stopping yourself from going because of fear is not what I'm trying to portray here. What I want you to do is to be able to make sense of values levels, where you're at, and what is it that you actually truly want. Because you can be entrepreneurial in a company. You can be and innovate. You can be the person who comes up with ideas and be employed. It is possible in this day and age. If the company or government department, whatever it is, if they have leadership, if their culture is a values level 5 culture, then you can do that. And I highly recommend it. Gary Vee talks into, you can become the entrepreneur, you can try and create a business because of what you think it means, and it brings money and wealth and all these things. However, he also talks about the person who was 2, 3, 5, 6 in Facebook when it started, having more money than 95% of the entrepreneurs out there. And that is truth. You can use your skills. You can implement ideas if you have management, if you are in a company that allows you to do that. So it's not one or the other, it's and. It's possible these days. It didn't used to be. So when Paul quit his job, he is used to, good English, Rebecca. He is used to somebody telling him, this is your deadline and this is when it has to be done by, and these are the things that we need done. And he can work within those perimeters, and he might have a little bit of flexibility, and that's great. And you might get 12% fucking super, whatever, right? Whatever is enoughness for you. But you're given the guidelines. When you are an entrepreneur, you make the fucking guidelines. It is the truth. MLM is not fucking entrepreneurship. You are given guidelines and told what to do, given limitations. You are just a glorified employee who wants to make money, who wants to be an entrepreneur, but you're too fucking scared to do it yourself. And if we were to model that to entrepreneurship, which is people who are able to think entrepreneurial in a company, there's a few of them that exist. You can still make bank. You can still make money. You can still create change. MLM is just the way out for people who think it's a 4-5 transition, who want it, but aren't really willing to go all in on themselves. And if you look at the definition of entrepreneurship, different to that of business, right? You could say you have a business because you have a fucking PTY, LTD, ABN, whatever the fuck. Cool. But I want to look at entrepreneurship as the fact that you actually have to create. You aren't given the guidelines, and that's the biggest difference. So I know people who have success in MLM. When I was 18, I started Tupperware so that I could learn how to, how to be better at sales, how to get used to rejection. I know I'm one of those weird humans who puts themselves in environments that you wouldn't expect so that I can grow and I can make sense of things that I don't know. The things I reject the most, I lean into. And now I do that proactively rather than that's why things happen faster for me, because I do that. Anyway, back to the actual story. doing Tupperware and doing that MLM, I can make sense of it. Gave me some insights into business. It gave me insights into branding. It gave me, guidelines for what to do with rejection. And it had a pretty good, really fucking expensive product, though. It was trending. And so literally you've heard this person could sell ice to Eskimos. What does ice turn into when it melts? You can sell things to people. People might buy from you because of whatever it is that you tell them somebody else told you to say. But how scared are you to go out of those boundaries, those guidelines that you're given? Because it's that fear that sets the difference between somebody going fully into a values level 5 transition or just petering on the edges, just playing. Because the wealth, the abundance, the freedom, all the things comes when you fully step into what values level 5 actually means. And so, yeah, at some point you choose to jump, but the jump requires you to jump without the fucking vest, without the floaties, without the hand holding. You've got to choose to do that jump yourself. And not everybody is ready for that. It doesn't mean that people aren't able to ever be there. It's just actually getting really real with yourself as to why you want to quit your day job. Like, what are you actually annoyed about? Because I have been in rooms where people have been pumped up and motivated by somebody, a leader, a facilitator, and literally quit their job whilst they're in the room. Get out of the room and go, holy fuck, what did I do? Don't let other people burn your life to the ground for their own benefit. Learn how to use discernment. Come back to decision making. Know who you are. Come back to intuition. The thing is, right, if you're values level 4, all of that got shut off. So a 4-5 transition starts with you choosing discernment. Because in values level 4, you don't get to have discernment. There's only black and white, yes, no, good, bad. And so you need to process that guilt so that you can actually learn how to have discernment and know when to say no when you want to say no. Instead of values level 4, saying yes to people even though you want to say no because you're scared of the guilt or the fear or the rejection. That is when you know you're truly ready to transition into 5. And it can be as slow or as short as you choose. But the thing is that it requires certain things to actually happen for it to be fully embodied. Hey, stop for a second. I know you're in the middle of building your life. If you want help with that, I can help you. Whether you join our Architect program where it's working with me one-on-one or our Build group container, which absolutely has incredible value and will help you design and build that life faster. You can also join us to understand and design your energetic blueprint before there's a 1-day, 2-day event. You can join us there too. There is multiple different ways you can work with us at different investment points. We would love to have you there to help you get, design, and build the life that you want faster. You can see the links below. Feel free to reach out in any DM, in any social media platform. I would love to hear from you. Now, get back to building that life. And so, yeah, I know I said I, don't love MLMs, and that's okay because I get to have an opinion and not give a fuck what anybody thinks, right? But I have also seen how that system can be really great for certain people. But on the other side of it, I've also seen how many people get fucked over from it, and it actually puts them back in their progress, back into values level 3, further from their future than when they started. And so I am all for people choosing to do what they want to do, but I am more for everybody actually learning how to have discernment, how to make decisions for you, not because or under the influence of other people. That's actually the thing that I don't like. And so part of the work that I do and the reason I love values level so much is because it's unfuckable. Like, you can't fuck with it. You can't pretend. It will show you up exactly where you're at, and it will show you absolutely where you need to look. And it's when you choose to look that change happens. So the fact is that values level 4, you love structure, you love order, and you love discipline. If you are transitioning in or out of 4, you'll start to reject that. And so if you're wanting to go into entrepreneurship, into values level 5, you want to quit your job, you have to actually let go of the fucking book and start writing your own rules. Start writing your own chapter, your own narrative. That is what entrepreneurship is. And so if you are not willing to do that, and I mean like you can be like, oh yeah, fucking I can do that. Great. Maybe start with something small. Who in your life are you saying yes to that you want to say no to? Start practicing the traits and the skills there before you quit your fucking job. It's about doing things by the book in values level 4. In values level 5, you need to be willing to write your own. You get to choose. The traits are going to be the same. The skills, the behaviors are going to map across to all areas of your life. So instead of quitting your day job, what if you played with those traits? What if you started to try them on? What if you started to put them into action where your decision to do so isn't detrimental, isn't potentially fucking up your future from an emotional standpoint? Because the whole I want to quit my day job, if you think about that language in itself, it's already as if you're at effect rather than in cause. Because if you're saying, I want to quit my day job, why? It's different when you say, I want to start a business. Can you feel the energy difference? One is at cause, one is at effect. I want to start a business. That's me being proactive as, oh, all of a sudden there's some desire there, right? But if you're saying, I want to quit my day job, that's away from, you're rejecting something. And so you need to ask yourself why. You may think the solution is business. I'm going to let you know that about 75% of the time, that's not the answer. And that is why the stats are so high in businesses failing. You don't have to do that. You also can do that. Failure is fucking great. You learn from it if you're open to it. But the thing is that these are the parts, these are the things that I want more people to understand, for more people to be able to reflect on so that they can test these traits without fucking everything up, without breaking families apart, without having to leave or having to go backwards and go to a job that you rejected 3 years ago because it pays you more just because you're now in debt because you started a business that you didn't really want. Discernment, decision-making. Utilize values level 4. Utilize the skills that you learned in there, because utilization is what values level 5 is all about. You learn how to create win-win scenarios for everybody, not just yourself. You learn how to utilize the black and white, the good, the bad. That's truly what values level 5 actually is. So test it out in smaller ways with people, with places, with fucking ceramics. Test it out. Test the traits of values level 5 out in different ways before you quit that day job. The thing is, right, we get to be a doctor, we get to be a worker, a teacher, an educator. I'm somebody who has early childhood centres. I have educators and teachers who work in my team. I actually, when I went through a values level 4-5 transition, I actually had to be okay with the fact that they're actually happy where they're at. But if you're watching this and you are not happy, then you have to be willing to see things differently, beyond what you were told. And the only way to do that is for you to start having discernment. And so there's a lot of people who might be in a values level 4 job and they go, you know what, I can actually earn more. I'm a physio in a hospital. I could actually earn more if I started my own business as a physio. You actually can. And though, it comes with a whole lot of other things that you're unaware of. And that, for me, though, as somebody who was at the time ready to go fully into values level 5, I had the work ethic, I had the drive, I had the desire, I had the want, I had the creativity, I had the curiosity, I had the responsibility, and I had the truth. And the only way I had all of that is because when growing up, I actually put myself in situations that made me uncomfortable. And so unconsciously, I was practicing values level 5 skills in other lower values levels. And so it wasn't just an intellectualized idea. And it meant that I was able to go all in on that and know that it was going to be hard. And I want you to know that it's going to be hard. And that is going to contradict some of the things you may hear out there about, like, it's only hard if you choose hard. Just manifest it and you'll earn 7 figures. Yes, in the true word or true definition of manifestation, it still requires work. You are highly unlikely to make $1 million working 2 hours a week on the beach if you are aligned ethically and providing value to your clients. The statistics are very, very low, but a lot of people make a lot of money on selling you something different. And that is what I want people to know. That is what I want people to share. That is what I want you to realize. Coaching, having a coach, having a mentor is so invaluable. That is how you collapse time, if you believe that time is real. That's another podcast. But the thing is that you can do that and it can have value if you have the skills of discernment and are not just idolizing them or trying to buy into a dream. And it's the same for MLM. If you are willing to do the work, if you are willing to go all in, as Alex Hormozi says, if you focus on one thing, you'll probably be able to make it $1 million business. But you have to be willing to do the fucking work. And that's what Values Level 5 truly is. It's that ability to see the resources in front of you and utilize them. You can innovate. You can start to see solutions to problems that you haven't been able to see before. You create your own rules. You are willing to get on your hands and knees and build your own path. That's what's required. But you also then start to realize, I've got money now. I can actually start to pay for somebody to work next to me to help me with that. And as you progress fully into 5, you're starting to be able to play chess. It's actually a good skill to learn if you want to fully go into 5, is learn how to play chess. Because that's what it is. Values Level 5 is utilizing. This move happens, what do I do next? You start to be able to see 3 steps ahead. This is how you make it work for you. This is how you start to strategize, how you start to write your own book, your own rules. Are you actually ready for that? And so the question I would pose to you watching this is it that you want to quit your day job? Or is it that you want to start your own business? Because it's one or the other. If you want to quit your day job, does not default to that you want to have a business. You wanting to quit your day job can also mean that you just want a different career. You want a different company to work at. That's great and phenomenal. But it doesn't have to mean that if you want to quit your day job means that the only opportunity or the only thing next for you is business. And that's pretty much what a lot of people are selling. So those of you who are in a 4-5 transition have more discernment than ever before. Because the thing is that people are actually making businesses from selling people the idea of starting a business, even if that person doesn't even know if they want to or not. How cool is that? How interesting is that? How likely are you to get fucked over? So have discernment when you're choosing your mentors. Have discernment when you're choosing your coaches. Have discernment when you're joining communities. And make sure that what you want is there, that you can get the value out of it. And a true Values Level 5 transition, you are going to be able to get yourself to that point. The real crux of the question is, do you want to quit your day job or do you want to start a business? That's it. It's as simple as that. And so I've got a few minutes left. And if you've gotten this far, I feel like I've got your attention. So let's start with, I want to quit my day job. What happened before you first had that thought? Did you have a fight with a colleague? Did a colleague leave? Did you get a new boss? Did the corporate structure change? Are they making redundancies around you? Do you feel like AI is going to take over your job? What's actually going on for you? Because usually the I want to quit my day job is not actually the root cause of the problem, right? So yes, this is me coaching you and asking certain questions, and I might not be able to hear you at the moment, and please put your feedback in the comments below because I'm happy to help. I love live coaching. I love helping. And so asking yourselves those questions, like what actually happened before you had that thought? And then from there, you can go, is it a person? If it's a person, what about that person is affecting you? Are you sad that your colleague left? Are you angry that your boss spoke to you like that? Are you pissed off that your husband got a promotion and you didn't? A lot of the times it's actually that the female got the promotion and the husband didn't. Just putting that in there. But really, what actually happened before you ask yourself that question? Because I truly believe that if you are ready for a Values Level 5 transition fully, the question you are asking is, what business do I start? Not that you want to quit your day job. Because I'm going to tell you that you can have a 9-to-5 job right now and you can go home on a Friday and have a wine and a beer well, I don't actually promote that, but you go that because you're numbing your life because you're not happy, right? But you can have a 9-to-5 job and switch off. If you have a business, you are changing your entire life because it's not 9-to-5 and it's not 2 hours on a beach once a week. It is and gets to be what you design it to be, but it has a period of hard work. And people are trying to deny that. People are trying to sell you something different. You are trying to sell yourself something different. You're trying to convince yourself there is something different. But if your question was, I want to quit my day job, instead of I want to start a business, as a coach, as your coach, I would ask a hell of a lot more questions to ensure that you actually are in a 4-5 transition and that you are setting yourself up for success rather than burning it all to the ground. You have to have self-trust. You have to have work ethic. You can't have Values Level 5 without it. So if you want to start a business, if that was your question and it's not about, do I want to quit my day job? This is where you get to ask yourself, do I want to create something from scratch? Do I want a franchise model? Do I want an MLM? Do I want? Because this is fundamentally going to shift. It's going to be the difference in your results financially. It's going to be it's going to have difference in your creativity, because you can be restricted by MLMs. You can be restricted by franchises, what you're allowed to do with the brand, where you're allowed to put it, what you're allowed to say, what you're allowed to provide in it. And are you only choosing one of those because of the safety net that you think you have? Because real, true entrepreneurship, you are making something out of nothing. You are putting certain ideas together. You are creating something new. And I don't mean that you're starting a business. You could buy a business that already exists, but you're turning it into something else. That is where the 7 figures, 10 figures, $1 billion, whatever, that's where it is. And so asking yourself, if you want to start a business, great. Start to really define what that looks like for you, because your life is going to change. If you think you're going to be there for school pickup and drop-offs and have $10 million in the bank, the statistics of that happening is very, very low. Totally possible, because everything is possible. But it's what are you actually willing to sacrifice? Because it's like we forgot to sacrifice. We think it's a bad word. We think it shouldn't have to be there. But the truth is something will be sacrificed, whether that is your relationship, whether that is money, whether that is time, your freedom, your relationship with your children. If you start a business, what are you actually willing to do to make it happen? And if you're not willing to do what comes up, what you know to be true, then get a new job, start a new career, become an entrepreneur. Join somewhere that sees you, that allows you the creativity, that values your ideas. You don't have to start a business to be successful. So, let me know what you think below. Are you in a 4-5 transition? What do you actually want? Use that discernment. Learn more about yourself. Ask the questions. Ask questions always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me living life by 8. If this episode hit home, brought value to you in any way, I would love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform too. And don't let your journey end here. Connect with me and my community at Rebecca Grugan on all social platforms. I look forward to going deeper with you on your journey.